Okay, on this video I'm going to show you guys how to change a electric fuel pump on a 99 Suburban. Make sure when you order the fuel pump for this Suburban, this particular one, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, have two types of fuel pump. One's called a 2-wire, one's called a 4-wire. If you look right here, this is the fuel pump that I purchased. It comes with the whole assembly. It's not like the other ones. It was cheaper for me to get it this way. Otherwise, I'd have just bought the pump down inside there and replaced it. Which is very simple to do as well, but I need the whole chamber. This is called a 4-pin. You can look right in there and you can see the 4-pin. It's a 4-wire. Again, make sure that you need the 4-wire and get the 4-wire, or make sure you need the 2 and you get the 2. The only accurate way of telling, there's two different ways. One is to drop the tank and see how many wires go onto the pump. 2 is to use your VIN when you call it in. And I don't remember which number it is on the VIN, but one of them, they'll know. I think they use the last 6. So this is a 99 Suburban GMC. They're going to be the same for the Silverados, 99s, Tahoes, etc. First thing I did was drain the fuel out of it. I got this handy little boat pump here, so I don't have to siphon like my younger days. I just pump it a couple times and it comes right out. I've pulled 25 gallons here out. I didn't have enough jugs, so I had to use a water jug. Actually 26, that little one down there too. So approximately 8 pounds per gallon. You can do the math there, but that's a lot of weight. This tank holds, I believe, 46 pounds or 46 gallons, so I probably still have 20 gallons in there if I had a full tank. I think I was about 3/4, so the odds are I probably got at least 10 gallons in there, maybe give or take a gallon or two. At 8 pounds a gallon, I'm still looking at 80 pounds. You want to get all the weight off that tank that you can, because when she comes down, it's going to come down about halfway and the wires are going to be stretched tight. At that point, you don't want to rip those wires out of there. So use a jack or something. I'm going to use this floor jack here to help me with the weight. If it ends up I got enough out of it and I can lift it, I'll move the jack. You're going to use a 15mm socket. There's 2 straps on this tank that you need to take off. And they are right here. These little saddle straps right here. There's one there. There's one over there. They're just sleeved in the back. They just got a rocker type sleeve. Up here is a 15mm. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, come on. Right there's one. And right there's one. Both those straps are going to hold the tank. But before we do that, let me tell you what we need. We need a 15mm. I'm going to use the impact. You can use a ratchet, 3/8 or 1/2 inch, whatever. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to need a pair of pliers. Those are the only 3 tools that you need. The first thing that you want to do, after draining the tank, of course, and I have my battery disconnected. If you want to do that, you can. It's probably best to, because there is a hot wire back there, but it shouldn't have any juice at this point. It should be just to the fuse box, so if you don't want to disconnect it, you don't have to. But I'm showing another video about how to correct an engine light, so it's off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this hose right here going to the fuel line. You don't have to disconnect it at the tank as of yet. Actually, it helps to leave it on there. And the return hose. The return hose will disconnect at the tank when we get into it. But just the fill tube for now, disconnect here. This one will stretch. And then we'll have our wires and straps, etc. So let's pull this one off first, which is the fill tube. Okay, so I have the fill tube line off. I noticed something on this one. I went ahead and removed the return line. And the reason I went ahead and did it is because these things here are normally faced up, the clamps. And you can't get at them, and it's easier to do it on the other side. I didn't notice it till I took this one off, that I could see this was down. So this has been removed before, because these screws normally face up from the manufacturer, because when they install these, they on the line, they put the tanks in, then they put the hoses on, then they set the body on the frame. So you can never get at these unless you got some little tiny screwdriver and you loosen it, twist it, and then take it off the rest of the way. But this was face down, so somebody has had this tank off before. That's one way to determine it. So if that's the case and yours is face down, go ahead and take it off now. It'll make it easier. So I'll go ahead and set these clamps aside so I don't lose them. And we'll start pulling those straps. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled one strap off because I want to show you how this works. It can actually move left and right because of the way that it pins in there. So I've just pulled the strap down, and I'm just going to rotate it towards the tire out of the way. Now I've got one strap holding it up. At this point, I'm going to drop this strap just a little bit. You seen how long that bolt was, like 4 inches. So I'm going to go down about half that distance. Sorry about the noise here. Alright, so I've dropped it about 2 inches. Now I can place a hand on the tank here and lift. And you see how I can barely move it? That tells me I still got a lot of fuel in there. So I don't want to get in trouble where I can't hold this up by myself and rip those wires. So at this point, I'm going to set the whatever you call it, the jack under here, right about in this area here where the peak of the tank is. I don't want to go in the center because that's about where my fuel pump is, and I don't want to smash the tank. So I want to put it on a ridge right here. If you have a piece of wood about 1 foot by 1 foot, it's best to put that on your jack. Don't use a bottle jack for this. Obviously the surface area is too small. So, alright, here we go. Okay, so I got my jack up under here. I've used a part of my toolbox here to help flatten and, increase the space here. So I've got the jack up, my strap's down halfway. I didn't jack my jack up tight until the tank was smashing. I just put pressure on it to hold the tank till the saddles were released. So now I'm going to pull this down. Again, sorry about the noise. I know this video is a little bit long, but this is actually an easy process. You see how long those bolts are. That's what I was talking about. So swing that over by the tire so it's out of the way. Now I'll pull my impact out of the way. At this point too, I have a air chuck here. If you have one, use it. Blow the dust out of the way. Let me set you down for a second. I'm going to blow the dust out of the way underneath the vehicle. And there will be a lot because all this banging around with the impact. The other reason you want this air chuck is because we're going to blow off the top of the tank after we lower it. We're going to blow the dust out of the way, because once we take that top of the pump chamber off, we don't want to get a lot of dirt in there. So, for obvious reasons, you do have a filter on there. We just put a new one on mine, so the filter will help if you get a little in there. That old wise tale about putting sugar in the gas tank, etc. You're going to ruin the pistons, ruin the rings. It's not true. So a little dust is not going to hurt in there because the filter will stop it. Even if that sugar gets blended, everybody says, oh, it doesn't blend, it crystallizes in gas and whatever. It's not true. The filter will stop it. That's what it's for. So a little bit of dust is not going to hurt it. Plus, the dust likes to settle at the bottom of the tank. On older vehicles like this one's a 99, so it's 15 years old. I would never add any gas additive to a vehicle like this because of that. All that dust settles at the bottom, all the dirt from tank being open, closed, or condensation can leave little dust particles. You want that dirt to stay in the bottom of the tank, so don't ever add a fuel injective additive to a vehicle that has been that hasn't had it. If you've used it its whole life, it's okay to go ahead and use it because the tank is probably pretty clean since you've used it so much. But if it's an older vehicle like this and you don't know if that stuff's been used or not, do not add it because it's like liquid Drano. It works excellent. It works real good. It will mix up that stuff in the bottom of the tank, and now you've got a whole world of problems, a whole nother environment in there of all this stuff agitated in there, and your filter's going to clog time after time. So if you've been using it, go ahead and use it. If you haven't used it, I recommend that you don't use it. Just leave that stuff sit in the bottom of the tank. That pump never reaches the exact bottom of the tank. Obviously, that sock would get smashed if it did. So it does. There's always a little bit of space in there. So let's just leave that dirt in there. So okay, now we're going to lower this tank. Okay, so I've lowered the jack. Now you can see what I'm talking about with my fill tubes. Why I took that fill tube off there. You see how it's sitting? I've lowered it all the way and I've dropped the jack. Now, my wires are going to be tight, but they're not going to be broke. See? I still got a little bit of room. I'm being held up by that fill tube. So that's the reason I want to leave it there like that. And you can see how long this one is. I didn't have to take that one off. I can take it off right here. But I don't need this off because we're not pulling the tank completely out of here. I have plenty of room. I don't have the vehicle jacked up. If I had the vehicle jacked up, I'd be in trouble right now because of this wire. I just have it enough to get up in here. Okay, so now we're going to take our air compressor, and this is where we're going to clean our air chuck, and this is where we're going to clean the tank. So watch your eyes when you do this. Want to get in there really good. And then on the ground. Okay, there we go. So, now let me get up in here and show you where we're going to put those clips. Oh, I don't think I told you about those clips. Chevy has clips. Well, I accidentally shut it off. So, yeah, Chevy has these little clips. I'll show you how to pull those off. Make sure you get them. So for now, I'm trying to get in here where you can see it. I'm going to just pull loose the wires. They just lift up and slide right out. And this one, you pull this little clip off here. I might have to grab a screwdriver because I can't get it with my fingers with one hand. Well, let me shut you off for a second. Okay, I had to pull it partially with a screwdriver so you can see. Now this clip here, the first one we took off, it's just got this little thing here you press down. You'll see that it clearly pulls right out. The second one has this little tiny plastic clip. You need to push down right here in the middle with a screwdriver, and then that will come off. When that little clip slides out, this plastic clip, then the plug itself will just slide right off. So there's both of those. Now GM's little handy dandy connectors and disconnectors here, they look just like this. Make sure you get this. They're fuel line disconnectors. They use them for air, they use them for fuel, use them for everything. I think the one we're going to want is this little gray one. So the way it works is you can see those fuel lines, how they're pressed on. They're not like that one I did on the 97. Those ones are much simpler. But actually these are simpler. These are easier. They look harder because they look like they're pressed on, but they're not. So all I'm going to do is take the clip, if I can get up in here and do it, and I'm just going to slide it on just like that, right on the line. Now I'm going to shove it forward. I'm going to have to use two hands, but you shove it forward and that presses in the clips that are on the inside of this rim. And just grab that hose and pull it towards me and push this clip out that way. But push the hose towards me first, then push the clip in. That will release it, then pull the hose out. So I need both hands. Okay, somehow over time I've lost one of the Chevy ones that I need. This small gray one here, or I'm sorry, it was the blue one that worked on the one side, but the other side I couldn't get it to work, so I just broke it off. You can see where it's not as long, and it's clearly down inside that line. So the new pump assembly comes with it, so I just broke that side off, and then I'll grab a pair of needle nose and just pull that out of there. You can just move the clips around at that time, manipulate it. But anyway, that's how you do them. You slide. Let me poke these out of the way because they will drip a little bit. And let me show you how I slid those in there. Well, that one's starting to drip already. Get up there. Okay. So the concept behind it is to take this little plastic clip here, and it will slide, as you see me do it, slide it on there. And then you just push it that way, and it relieves all those little metal clips. I think there's 4 per line, and it relieves the pressure on them and allows the hose to come right off. So it worked fine on this side. This side here didn't work fine because it didn't have the right size. If you notice, this one's a little bit smaller around, and that one's much bigger, and I didn't have the right one for that one. So, all right, so we are a 4-pin here, so clearly I did get the right one. So now we're going to pull this ring here off, and I'll show you how to do that. There's a tool for that, and I have the tool, but we're not going to use the tool because the odds are you don't have the tool. And all it is works like a pair of pliers, but the opposite way. The little pegs go inside these little holes. Instead of like needle nose pliers going out, these pegs go down, and you squeeze it together and just pull it right out. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use a screwdriver and pop it right out so that you know you can do it. So all I'm going to do, you can see right there how I twist. It's pretty easy because I'm doing it with one hand, and I'm just going to lift it up just like that. Now it relieves the pressure off all the other ones, and I can just drag it right around in a circle like that and pull it right out. So there's that ring. Try not to bend it up. Do it just like I did it. Clip up to one side and then pull it like you're trying to pull a string out. Don't bend it up because a new pump don't come with one. So, and then this pump will just pry a little bit, but lift right out of there. I'm going to have to use both hands here, I think, because that seals on pretty tight. So let me shut you off for a second. Okay, so it just took a little manipulating, and then she popped right up. So there's the pump. I'll pull it out of the chamber so you can get a better look at it. There's the O-ring. Don't drop that down in there. The new one should come with that O-ring, but if it doesn't, you know, the odds are you can reuse it. And I'll show you how to assemble that. So let me get this out of here and bring it out here up underneath the truck so you can see it better. Okay, so here's the pump assembly. We just pulled it out. I'm going to go ahead and take the pump out of this one. I know I bought the whole chamber, but I want to see why this thing was running the way it was. And the way it was running is that if I had a full tank, it worked fine. But when I got down to like a half a tank or a little over, it just died on me like it was out of fuel. I could prime it up and continue to drive and prime it about every couple of miles, but that's not working for me. And then when I stopped at the gas station and filled it full, I could drive it again, no problems. Otherwise, half a tank or a little over, it was acting like it was out of gas. So I got an idea it was a weak pump, but I just want to double check it. So I'm going to pull this pump out of the chamber. The way we do that is we just push these clips in on the side right here, and this whole chamber will come right up. So let me do that real quick with both hands, and I'll turn you back on. Okay, I've noticed a couple problems with this. One, I've got so much buildup here, my sock is completely clogged. This is the outer sock, this is the inner sock. Most of them don't have this inner one, but this pump does. So this was one of the problems. It's completely plugged up here, so it's not getting everything that it needs. Clearly, I mean, that's a mess. The other thing was when I pulled this back, I want to show you this. This hose right here is my pickup hose, or my push hose, you could say. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there, let me try to get it to focus in. It's not really focusing in, but there's a small crack right there. The hose is dried out and there's a small crack. So what's that? What does that mean? That means the fuel's coming in through the sock, of course plugging up, and it's not getting it. The pump's overworking, so it's getting too hot and then it'll shut down. That's probably why I was only getting so many miles. But then, and I didn't tell you this, but sometimes when I got on it hardcore, it was kind of like it had a miss or something, like it was trying to stall out, like it had a tranny problem. If you watch my filter video, you'll see, or you'll hear me talk about it. But this is why right here. So that little tiny hose here, the fuel comes up into the pump and tries to pump it up into that line and go to the fuel filter, but some of it is bleeding back in. So I'm getting some of it, but I'm not getting all of it. So I don't have all my pressure. And that's exactly what it was acting like, stalling out on me like that. Felt like a transmission problem, but this is the exact cause of that. I don't have all my pressure, and so I'm bleeding back into the tank some of the fuel, and so I'm not, my injectors aren't getting all the fuel that it needs. So it's almost like they couldn't open all the way up even if they wanted to. They weren't getting enough fuel. They were starving. So that's the problem. So I didn't mean to tear all that apart, but it doesn't matter. It's trash to me. So now we'll put the new one in. So this is all garbage. Okay. So here's our new pump we're going to be installing, and like I said, we are the 4-pin there. That 3-pin is just a vacuum. You can see it doesn't lead to anything. The line just, I don't know if you can see it or not. The line just comes in and stops. So I believe it just reads vacuum. So the 4-pin is what we are concerned with. Now this entire chamber right here is what I bought. I didn't buy just the pump. See, it came with the sock. There's another sock down inside with the pump. You seen when I took apart the other one. And I'm sorry for this video being so long, but I just wanted to be thorough. And I'm glad that I'm running into a few of these little problems here so that you guys can see also how to take care of them instead of me just typing it out. This pump, I've checked everywhere. They run $229, $239. I got this pump for $79. And I know right now you're saying bull. No way. We can't find anywhere. Let me tell you where I got it. Right there. I don't think they'll mind that I'm advertising for them. Can you see that? Wait, see if it blends in or comes in. Yeah, maybe it's not going to, this camera. It's rockauto.com. My buddy helped me out and showed me where he got this for me. He can just about order any part for me. I swear he's just heaven sent. But anyway, rockauto.com is where I got it. $79.99. That's the price of just the pump, not counting the whole chamber. So that's incredible at that price. I think I paid like $4 for the filters, where they're normally $12.99, I think. So awesome deals if you can wait for them to come in, because they do take a little bit. They told me 10 days, and I got it in 3 days. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and install it. We're going to install it backwards. First thing I'm going to do is set this chamber right down inside there. Just notice the little bumpers there. These ones here wore out. Can you see where it wore right there from the vibration? So that's another little issue there. That's pretty cool. Those come with that. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get back up under there. We'll set it down in there. Don't forget to put your O-ring back on first. Clean it up a little bit and slide that right now over top your your float assembly. Slide it over top now, get it ready, push it all the way to the front, or the top I should say, and get that ready. So that you want on there before you slide it in. And then we're just going to do everything backwards. So if you don't understand all of it, good luck, have fun. If not, stick with me and I'll show you the rest. Okay, before I throw that on, I wanted to show you this. This came in the bag. The new O-ring was in there too. That place is just awesome. Anyway, this is the 4-prong. If you have a 2-wire, it shows you how to take the 2 and put them together, and then just run to use this extension for the plug for the 4-wire. So this thing's pretty cool. I almost want to wire it in just so I have that extra wire so the tank's not stretched. But I've already set this in here, so I want to show you how to put this ring in here. I pulled the O-ring up over top of it, just like we talked about, and then as I had it in the air, I set the O-ring down inside, and then I put this on. As I went down, I just pushed down on the left and set this keeper in 1 clip at a time. I put it in there, then I put it in there, I pushed down hard, I put that side in, I pushed down hard, and I pried that side in. Now I'm going to push down really hard and slide this last piece in. Okay, so there it is. It's all on. Everything looks good. So now I'm going to get her back up in the air a little bit, put my clips in there. Can't forget to take this piece out of that other one that I broke off on there, and I just pretty much snap in the clip, snap in the clip. Remember, I got the little plastic clip after that one. The 2 lines, get this thing up in the air, put the straps back on, and my fill tube and my return line. And that's just about it. That's all of it. So again, if you already know the concept here, you can just keep going. I'll split this up into a couple videos, part 1, part 2, maybe even a part 3, so beginners can watch it all, and someone who's more experienced doesn't have to sit here and listen to all my yakking. So alright, let me get that going. Okay, in order to get that piece that was stuck on there out, I just grabbed a drill bit and measured it for the size of the inner part of that hole and just ran it in just a little bit. Just drilled it in a little bit and then just yanked it out. So that came out pretty easily. Got the clips bent back where they need to be, and both hoses snapped on pretty good. So that's it for there. Just got the 2 plugs, so now I'll get the tank up in the air. Fill tube. When you put that fill tube back in right here, I've already tightened them up. I put my clips on and lifted the tank up into place. I've got the straps just hanging in about 1.5 inches like we did in the beginning, because I want to be able to shift the tank to the left or right now. The frame here, I want it to be the same distance on both sides of the tank as the frame. And so that's all I got left to do, is just button those up. But I wanted to tell you, when you put this line on, fill back here as far as you can and make sure that the hose is round all the way. It's not twisted and kinked, because that's when you put gas in your gas tank and it keeps clicking off because it won't take it fast enough, and it's real irritating filling your tank. You have to sit there and hold it. You can't just set the pump and go wash your windows or whatever. That's why. So make sure that you twist that hose and it fills right while this is loose and you're able to turn it, and that tube fills, it's not kinked, because it will be kinked when you first go up. So that's it. I hope I helped you out and answered any questions that you might have. If you leave some stupid comment, obviously, then you know a better way of doing it. So just make your own video. Don't leave me any stupid comments, because I'm probably going to come back with a smart remark you're not going to like. So just don't leave one. Go make your own video and show everybody else a better way. Everybody else, I hope it helped you out, and I hope that you're able to do this on your own and not pay anybody big bucks to have it done. So enjoy.